Hey guys, how's it going? Mike Kemp here at Taco Joint in Austin, Texas. I'm an Ironman triathlete. 2 months ago, I broke my neck, my C5, C6, C7 vertebrae, as well as my sternum in a cycling accident. I had titanium plates put in. We're out of the neck brace. Recovery is going really well, really ahead of schedule. Now I'm back to outdoor cycling. I'm also hopping in the swimming pool. As you'll see later today, we're going to do a workout. And this morning after breakfast, we're gonna go out and do an outdoor ride up to the north, a place called Lime Creek. This series, Chasing Kona, is about an Ironman race that I've got in April next year. We're 7 months away, and I wanna show you from my recovery all the way up until I race an Ironman, what it takes, what that actually entails. So the vehicle or the niche is Ironman training. You're gonna get to see what we're doing, what a build looks like for Ironman. Also, we're going to inject things. I'm 40 years old. I've lived a pretty full life. We've taken the last 4 episodes introducing stories, everything from injuries I've had, what kind of fitness I use to stay strong, things like faith that have become a big part of my life, sobriety. I'd love to show you what Austin looks like, so we're going to be traveling around quite a bit and just have fun with the process. I'm new to this. I'm super excited that we've been growing some subscribers and really appreciative for you guys, and looking forward to getting to the day of training. Yeah, it's good weather, man. You want to just hop in the back on the other side? Yeah, September's nice and cool, man. So guys, this is Gabe Porterfield. Gabe I met at Austin Cyclist, a local bike shop where I take mine for maintenance. One thing I wanted to share, when I first got here to Austin, I didn't know anybody who was a cyclist, but I was enjoying cycling. Sorry, it's we're working uphill for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, whose idea was to do it on the uphill?
It's a little hard to breathe. But just because you don't know anyone in town, it doesn't mean it's not really easy to find other cyclists.
It's just show up, ask the people at the shop where the local club is. You can even train with some of the mechanics like this. Gabe is also a mechanic. Great person to have on the road with you in case you have any malfunctions.
I got you.
Gabe, can you tell us a little bit about you're racing for a team, right? And
Yep, yeah.
you've been competing?
Yeah, Cadence. Been doing pretty good around the country, been excited, glad to be a part of the program. And every now and again I can win a local race, you know.
Tell us about the one you won, that you won.
Oh yeah, so I got to win Hotter Than Hell recently. That was like something I've been looking to do since I was just a young lad.
How many miles is it?
It's 100 miles.
100-mile race. How long did it take you?
It was like 340. So it was like average around 27.
That's fast.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. I had won, actually, in fact, I had won my first ever road race win was there when I was 14. And then
14 years old?
Yeah, I won like the 4-5, so it's the beginning category. And the next year I catted up and won that category. And so on all the way up to like the open or the pro category. And so it was like a dream to have won every category at Hotter Than Hell.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you grew up around here, right?
Yeah, this is, I was just telling you that it's like my home route. I grew up like 45 minutes northwest of Austin. So I'd come up into Austin and do this loop. Yeah, I love it around here.
For those of y'all that don't know, this is on Lake Travis. In Austin, we've got
Yeah, you
two
might be
big
able to
lakes.
see it.
You're about to see it in the back. Woo, this is a workout. You've got Lake Austin, Lake Travis. In Austin, we don't have mountains and beaches.
It's got lakes.
We got lakes. So a lot of people get out on the boat to wake surf. We like to get out on the roads to ride.
Well, yeah, the riding's always best by the lake because it's this terrain, you know, like the Colorado River, you know, coved out the all the valleys around in like central Texas and like the hill country. It's basically made by the Colorado River. So like all the best riding is just near the lake, you know?
Yeah, and it's just a really nice way to get to know Austin. If you're running or walking, you're not getting to see too much. If you're driving, you're moving a little too quick sometimes. So this is the perfect pace just to soak in nature around you.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So another cool thing about this area is Lance Armstrong used to have a house pretty close to here, right?
Yeah, right off the road. Yeah, right on Lime Creek, yeah.
And you used to work for him?
Yeah, I used to work for him back in the day, yeah.
What did you do for him?
I was a mechanic. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool to be on the same roads as Lance Armstrong.
Yeah. Well, see, I think why like this road reminds me a lot of in Girona in Spain, where he used to live. It's like very similar, like the terrain and even the trees. And so my buddy, anyway, so it just reminds me of this coastal road. So I feel like all the big pro guys, anytime I ride with a guy that spent time in Spain, they always like to do this road because it kind of reminds them of that, you know, because it feels like it, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a great racing community and just riding cyclist community, endurance community here in Austin.
Yeah. It's cool to see cycling grow. I think cycling, especially like the hobby of cycling, grow in the past, like, you know, 3 to 5 years, and like hopefully it keeps translating into more guys that like want to race and getting into the sport, because that's you know what you need, just more eyes. And
yeah, another thing I wanted to mention was for my first Ironman, I was a beginner, and I used to spend 6 months always on the indoor trainer.
Yeah, that's brutal, dude. I hate the trainer.
It gets pretty boring after a while, but it's great for fitness.
Yeah, it does get you fit.
And now that I'm not a veteran anymore, but I'm not a rookie, it's a great opportunity for me to get around and practice handling on the bike.
Yeah, well, that's the fun part. To me, I just like, especially with some of the shots we got today, just like ripping the corners and being in the draft and getting close to the camera, like it's fun.
Yeah, that's where I really feel in flow state.
Yeah, exactly.
And you really feel one with the universe and nature.
Yeah, just like piloting the hell out of the bike, you know, yeah.
Just a really special experience.
Yeah. It's addictive, man, watch out. I'm addicted with like racing. Like, I'll tell you, man, if I don't race, like, cause like the races I'm doing, it's like, you're on the limit, you know what I mean? Of like what the bike can do and the grip of the tires and that rush and that like focus that it demands. Like when I'm not racing, I'll find myself like doing stupid shit around cars. I'm like, what am I doing? Cause I love that rush. You know what I mean?
Well, if you're going 27 miles an hour for a race, that's pretty top speed. And you're probably on descents, probably pushing 40, 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, you're like looking for a second everywhere you go. Because the thing is, like, the higher the level, obviously everyone's fit, everyone's riding good. And so you're looking for like the littlest advantages to make you better than your competitors, which is like using the brakes a little less and just like taking a little more risk. And it's,
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to mention was one of the great things about riding with people who are better than you. Gabe's a stronger rider than me, and the best way to learn is for me to watch how he's handling a bike.
Yeah.
So I'll see where he's placing his hands. I'll see how he's lowering his body. I used to ride with my knees out like this, and now I do them in.
Yeah. Well, same like growing up with two older brothers, like you pick it up quick, and it's like you kind of get thrown to the wolves and like how to draft and keep your head low. You just like instinctively will do these things being with the right people and stuff. So yeah. Like my little brother, I was telling you in the car, my little brother is like a much better cyclist than me, just at the like skills of cycling, just because I feel like growing up, it's like, you always, stack the deck against your younger brother. You always have to beat your younger brother. And so the only way he would win was by like sheer, determination or whatever. And so he's just like a super skilled person in general now, just because he was kind of thrown to the wolves with I think life, but especially cycling,
Yeah, I grew up as a little brother as well, and
yeah.
something about that competitive drive.
Yeah. See how we're just like coasting in the draft?
Yeah, another thing I wanted to explain. So Gabe's a stronger rider than me, but you don't have to be equal riders to get out.
Well, that's the difference in between running. Like running, you have to be a similar like pace to run with them. But in cycling, you can be much lower fitness and still ride with people. So it's a much more like inclusive in that way, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'll get behind Gabe here and I'll just show you it's drafting or slipstreaming. Basically right now, I'm in this channel.
And I'm just coasting behind the truck right now.
And I'd ride 40% less effort and I'm keeping at the same pace. So if I'm a less strong rider, it's smarter for me to get behind, take advantage of him taking all the wind.
And the faster you go, the more there's draft. So it's like even more crucial and stuff. So.
Hey guys, that's a wrap for today. We did 21 miles in about an hour. That's about 240 watts. That's a decent zone 2 for me. One of the nice things here coming down on the descents, that's really good practice when you get back outside, getting used to the road again,
right?
Right?
Just learning the grip, because the grip is there. You just got to learn like where's the limit, and so it's always nice to just go rip it to sit and like kind of feel like, okay, the confidence rises as you do it more and stuff. So.
Yeah, when he's talking about the grip, he means the grip of the tire on the ground, and that changes depending on a lot of things, right?
Yeah, like if it's wet, tire pressure.
He pointed out water. If you're ever a beginner and you're coming around a turn, you see any gravel or loose sand,
yeah, exactly.
Definitely be careful.
Yeah.
Don't be pedaling through that, right?
Yeah.
Don't be breaking through that.
Yeah. Like the first thing I'm doing coming to a corner is like monitoring like the surface, like what it looks like. If there's gravel, if it's dusty, like obviously water. It's like all those things you have to like make it a perception of how much grip you think's in that corner, and like decide how fast you're going to go or how much brake you're going to use or not use. So yeah.
Exactly, and always on the caution side of safety.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can lose, I think, up to 70%, depending how much water there is of the grip on the road.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool, that's a wrap. Next thing, we're gonna drive back to town and get in the swimming pool. Hey guys, we're here at Deep Eddy. It's a natural swimming pool. What I like about this is it fills in from the Colorado River. Same as last week at Barton Springs, it's the same water. It's 68 degrees year round, so it keeps nice and cool. And I also like that it's not pumped with a bunch of chemicals, so it's not bad for my skin or my hair. One of the things we've been working on in my physical therapy is the spinal rotation. With the broken neck, that's cervical has also affected my thoracic. And in order to be able to lift my head or turn my head to breathe, as you saw last week, I was in Barton Springs using a snorkel. Now I'm happy to see if we can turn enough to breathe regularly, and we're going to try without the snorkel. I'll still throw some fins on today just to refamiliarize myself with being comfortable traveling on top of the water. A typical Ironman training package, in my experience in my coaching community, you'll be in 3 times a week, typically a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for an hour, and that'll typically get you between 3,000 to 4,000 yards. The Ironman swim in the full Ironman, which I'm doing in April, is 2.4 miles or 4,200, I think it's 4,224 yards. So I'm almost swimming the full distance when I'm doing a regular hour. The difference is here I'll chop it up. People have different types of programs, whether that's lots of 25s, lots of 50s, 100s. Another thing that I like about Deep Eddy is it's a 33-yard pool instead of a 25. I am a very average swimmer in comparison to a lot of other triathletes. I would say it's my weakest sport, but the nice part is that it's only 10% of the race. If I'm trying to do sub 10 hours in the race, I might spend an hour 15 to an hour and a half. That would be a decent swim time versus 4.5 to 4 hours 40 minutes that I'd like to spend on the bike, and maybe 3 hours 20 minutes in the marathon after. So the swim in proportion is not the most important, but it's obviously still 2.4 miles. I did my first earlier this year in the ocean in South Africa with the great whites. I'm looking forward to my races in a canal and reservoir 2 hours east of here. And yeah, we're gonna see how the spinal rotation is. Excited to get in the water. Hey guys, that was a 30-minute workout. We did 30 lengths down and back, or 60 lengths of the 33 yards. It felt really good. Even though cardio doesn't transfer from all of the bike work I'm doing necessarily to the pool, it's a very different cardiovascular work. Still felt pretty good. My spinal rotation felt pretty good, everything considered with my spinal cord injury. So pretty happy. We'll progress to a 45 minutes and then an hour and do that 2 to 3 times a week. Pretty happy. Another cool thing is this is the oldest pool in Texas. It was founded in 1915. Another one that my dad back in the 60s was visiting. So yeah, this is right next to the trail. When we get into brick workouts, we'll be doing a lot of swimming and running. And yeah, just really looking forward to being back in the water. All right, guys, we're back here in my home in Austin for the evening. This is where I spend almost every night, here with Justin and Dan. I know these guys from Collective, the gym we go to. They've both been over here before. Just want to talk about some of the things we do, both in recovery. One of the reasons that I invested in the red light panels and the infrared sauna, in addition to the dry sauna, is for the red light has great benefits for your skin, more of on a superficial level, and the infrared rays are getting into your organs underneath. And yeah, just in combination with the cold plunge out there, I think we all use it. You guys are using it at the gym most days. Why do you guys like plunge and sauna?
I mean, the sauna is great for me post-workout, controlling inflammation like you talked about, another level of cardiovascular health, and great for mental purposes as well.
Yeah, I think both sauna and cold plunge for me are, as I'm turned 40 this year, looking more at longevity and just ways to recover better, recover faster, and continue to do the things that we all love to do.
Yeah, I know that I'm 40 also, and just noticing, yeah, it speeds up recovery for me, especially as a triathlete and the load that I'm taking. I seem to be able to get up and do more and more often. The only thing that I've changed more recently is I don't usually cold plunge right after I work out. I know it's conflicting, but for me it just seems to make sense if you want to work out and then keep the blood around your muscles, whereas when you hop in the plunge it goes towards your organs. I don't know if you guys have changed.
I come from the same school of thought. I do it before my workout. It's great for energy. After the workout sauna, I try to expand those blood vessels and better muscle growth, so that's what I do.
Cool. Yeah, and another thing I don't think a lot of the mainstream knows is these started in Scandinavia, and if you look at their rate of cardiovascular disease, that's what really turned me on to it initially, were the physical benefits. I think a 60% reduction of people who are doing it 4 times, 20 minutes a day. And then when I started using a sauna, the mental benefits, I feel super relaxed afterwards. And then, but most of all, the reason I'm excited to start having events over here and introducing more people is because of the connection. I think it's a cool way to have a community. I'm not going out, I don't think any of us are going out too often and partying at the bars. That's a sort of a thing of the past for me. And I just wanted to create more opportunities for connection, and this is a cool way. Seems like when you get in here, able to be a little bit more vulnerable, at least for me, and you watch guys are able to, talk, share their emotions and work through some things together, at least in my experience.
Yeah, you get in a confined space with, a handful of people for 20 minutes, 20 minutes at a time, and conversations are interesting, and actually I think that's where we met, at Collective in the sauna.
Yeah, but was it? Yeah, that makes sense. A couple of years ago now, probably.
Yeah. Met a bunch of people in the sauna over the years there. It's an interesting
meeting point.
Great community,
Yeah. The thing at Collective is it's so dark in there, sometimes you don't know who you're meeting.
Yeah. When you get in, you can't see, that's for sure.
But yeah, this one definitely lights it up. Cool. Well, I also wanted to talk about, for me, faith is a newer thing, and also, pretty much for the most part, if not all, putting drinking and drugs behind me, and I've just noticed a more bountiful, abundant life, and Justin, you and I, when we first met, we started talking about that because I think you're what, pretty close to a year on your journey.
Yeah,
so
almost a
maybe-
year. When I met you, it was early on.
Yeah, and I know you celebrated even at 9 months. Didn't you run 9 miles? Or
Yeah,
something?
that seems to be a
And
continual
now you're
thing.
doing it
Yep,
until
yep.
maybe 100, who knows?
Yeah, at least 24.
Cool. Yeah. Would you just share a little bit about like what prompted that for you and how your life is different now?
Yeah, my journey with sobriety started last year. It was really just time to take a look in the mirror and assess some things. I wasn't living a fulfilling life, hitting goals personally, financially, wasn't showing up in relationships the way I wanted, and decided it was time to make a change. And that early decision definitely has some uncomfortable parts to it, but through my journey with faith and a couple other things, it definitely has smoothed over that transition, and I've moved on to see a lot of unseen benefits that I'm so grateful for.
Could you be a little more specific about like, because I'm still learning this too. Does that mean when you include your faith, are you praying about it? Are you surrendering? Are you asking God to help you maybe lighten the load and not feel overwhelmed?
Exactly. Surrendering was the first step in that process, understanding that this is out of my control. I'm going to need help from people around me, but more importantly, a greater power, and that's God for me. And after that, a weight's lifted off your chest. You have a sense of relief and peace once you fully surrender to the fact that there's a bigger plan involved, and as long as you're aligned with the tenets that will get you through that plan, God will handle the rest. And that's been a really moving and freeing part of my journey.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've noticed the way that it's showing up for me more recently is as this. I'm really excited that YouTube is moving at a pretty good rate right now, and I started feeling just a little overwhelmed, with just whether it's brands approaching or me trying to navigate, we're doing a video every week and the content, and I went from a place of working for the military or government where everything is structured and you just have to kind of read a manual about your job to now I have to create everything. And as soon as I would just at nighttime have a conversation with God and just say like, hey, I'm feeling this is a bit much for me, but I if you think this is good for me, please help me work through it. And since I'm new to this, I'm just like constantly surprised at like there doesn't seem anything I can't ask for that he's not going to show up for and make it much more manageable. And Dan, you've been faithful for your whole life, right?
Yeah, I was born and raised in a non-denominational church, and so kind of grew up with Christianity as kind of the foundation.
Here in Texas, right?
Yeah, here in Texas. And just on the alcohol piece, like I don't drink a lot. I wouldn't say entirely sober. There are instances where I feel like if I'm celebrating something or it's going to enhance an experience somewhere, but for the most part, I've kind of reached a point where alcohol as a whole just doesn't really serve me much anymore. It certainly hurts for days on end trying to recover, and just be tired, and just in terms of relationships, business, life, wanting to kind of show up 100%, it doesn't really help me do that in any way. So, yeah, it's few and far between for me at this point.
Yeah, I've noticed for me it seems to be we're such a habitual species. I think I mentioned it last episode as I was trying to redefine my relationship. I quit alcohol to help for the Ironman, and then I realized, wow, I'm going out on these dates or things and thinking it either wouldn't be as fun or I wouldn't like myself as much or something, and I didn't like that I was attached to that, feeling dependent on something to make me have a good time. And then I think you were mentioning just over inside, like, yeah, you can still go out and do the fun things and get to feel good tomorrow. So yeah, I'm just trying to encourage people who, have just become such a habit of on the weekends or after work, it's a de-stressor, and at 40, I'm here to say like that stress doesn't go away. It kind of just gets pushed along, you know?
Yeah, for sure. For me, that habit was to suppress, emotions that I didn't want to feel at that time. It became a habit, which ultimately stripped me of lots of points of view of my identity. And before you know it, it's a habit that stripped away most of my identity. So removing all that noise has not only helped me hear God better, but also find myself and find a lot of passions that I neglected for so long. And that's been a really exciting and playful part of my recovery with alcohol.
Nice. Another thing I wanted to ask you guys about, when since I was closed-minded, when I first got introduced to faith, it hit me pretty hard. I had an amazing spiritual experience I've told you both about, so it was just a no question in my mind. But my fear was, does this mean, like, do I have to follow, if I go to church and have to follow so many rules? Like, one, people were telling me it's a whole lot of responsibility, and it is. I'm not downplaying that. If you want to show up for yourself and for God and for other people, it's definitely a responsibility. But I was also a little bit fearful of, am I going to be able to keep that up, and what happens if I fail? And it just seems like such a forgiving process where it's okay, and that we're all going to make mistakes, and as long as we get up the next day and try to make it better. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that, because I'm still navigating it.
Yeah, for me, looking back at all the times of drinking, there was a lot of bad decisions and guilt involved with that. By accepting a higher power, and specifically the Christian faith, that takes a lot of that guilt and pressure off of my back, and knowing that I'm forgiven for my sins and that I will sin again, and as long as I'm repent and am faithful to God, that He will forgive me again. That takes a lot of the stress and weight off of years of neglect, and that's one of the great aspects of Christianity and my faith.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would say none of us are going to get it right all the time, right? If you believe what we believe, and you believe like Christ is King, then there's only one guy that's ever done it perfectly, and that's Him. And I think the difference in terms of what you mentioned about feeling like restricted, or where you can't do this or that, or there's a certain number of rules that you have to follow, or things like that. Like, I think it's more freeing than anything. The difference in following Jesus and every other world religion is that every other world religion, you are doing these acts to reach God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with Christianity, like, Jesus paid it all. It was His sacrifice that allows us a relationship with God, and if you just believe that, and believe that He died for salvation, then it's been paid, it's been done. There's nothing else that you need to do, and anything that you do is in response to wanting to be more like Him.
Yeah.
Rather than some list of rules that you have to feel like you have to follow.
Yeah, that's what I relate to as well. And just to finish my note on the freedom thing is, to my surprise, I actually feel more free than I ever have before. And it's because I've noticed I can do almost anything I want because of Him and with Him. And I feel so much more empowered. You guys have that relationship as well?
Yeah, for sure. The clarity and peace of mind only comes from believing that there's someone above watching over you. Without that, chaos would ensue in my head, and I'm sure in my life.
Yeah, the cool thing to me is that he His will is going to be done. Like, it's already been written. Like, His plan has been laid out, and He's going to execute it. But He gives us the chance to be a part of that. He invites us into relationship, and into accomplishing the things that He wants to accomplish with us and through us.
Mm-hmm.
And we just have to be open and available. He does it, but He gives us an opportunity to be a part of it. which I think is really cool.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's yeah, and I'm just trying to encourage people that, you know, like myself for 40 years who just closed-minded. I thought I was an open-minded person. So, you know, I'm not trying to put any pressure on anyone other than just share my experience, and it was great to you guys share your experience. I think I'm fortunate to have found my faith and my Christianity here in Austin, which is very accepting, and I haven't felt forced or pressured by anyone, and there's just a really cool community of people. I just love being around people who seem to be givers and lovers and just happy people who are just going out of their way. And that's just been my experience so far. So of course I'm all in on it, you know.
Yeah, I've heard it described this way, and obviously we believe that, you know, I believe that it is, that, you know, the Bible is true, and it's, you know, every word in there is intentional. But when you think about it, all right, none of us really know what happens when we die, right? Like, unless you've had a near-death experience and you get a glimpse, we really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had it explained to me this way one time, like, you know, for people that maybe don't believe or are on the fence, it's like, okay, if it's true, then you have salvation in eternity for just accepting the gift of salvation. If it's not true, then you live your life in a way that, you know, you try to treat people the right way, you try to do the right things. You know, you lived in a way that hopefully made your life better and those around you. And then, okay, you know, it's kind of, it's win-win, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Well put.
And I don't know, people hurt people. It's usually not the church, right? And when we talk about the church, it's the community, it's the followers of Jesus. It's not it's not a building per se.
Right.
And so I've heard people, you know, I would say don't let imperfect people skew your view of a perfect God who loves you and who is accepting, and you're never too far gone. So he is constantly pursuing us, and we've talked about this. Like, if you feel that you don't feel God, it's not because he's not there and pursuing you. It's because we've moved away.
Disconnected.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Dan's been taking me to a Bible study. I like the one that we've been going to, partly because it's Wednesday mornings, early at 7, and it's such a cool way to start your day, and that's ignited me to get up in the morning a little bit earlier and spend my day in the Word, learning more about Him. And the last thing I want to say is, you guys weren't on the bike ride this morning, but I closed it out just letting people know who maybe are interested in cycling in Austin, but they don't have a community. It's so easy to walk into the shop and just ask for where a club is, or just ask the mechanics, like, hey, you know anyone to ride with? And I just wanted to say, in my experience, it's been very similar with faith, that it's so easy to find. At some points in the past couple months, I've been to 2 or 3 Bible studies and 2 services at Red Rocks or at Ridge. Just not to overload myself, just because I was so eager to start to learn how did Jesus live and how do I get closer to God, because this is an awesome feeling. And that's allowed me, I just don't want anyone to feel alone. Like, it's awesome having a personal relationship, but I also think it's important to make it part of the community as well.
Yep.
Cool. You guys got anything else you wanted to add? We've been in the sauna for a while now, so we need to get in the plunge.
No.
Good, man.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate I appreciate
Thanks
you
for
guys
having us.
coming on, and let's get in there. Let's get in that spot.
That's a wrap on episode 6, guys. Just wanted to say I really appreciate you following along in this journey. We're in this together. I'm super happy the way the training is going. The progress is I'm now doing 3 workouts in a day. Today we had the bike, the swim, and I even got into the gym for my physical therapy. Also hop over to my Instagram if you want to do some behind the scenes that I post there, as well as daily workouts. And just thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.